Hello and welcome to Devcast Ops. I'm James. Below me is Wale, and over there is Barnaby.
Ooh,
And I'm going to pass over to Barnaby to say what we're doing today while I turn from this screen into a other screen.
yeah, so today we're going to be messing with Vault, Terraform, and AWS, and we're going to be setting up OICD authentication between them so that we can have Terraform connect to Vault without having to have credentials hard coded inside it, and trying to make that whole deployment a little bit more secure and seamless. So that's hopefully what James will manage to show us today
Fingers
when if
crossed.
everything works correctly.
I was just putting a camera in the bottom. Now people can see me on stream. Um, Maybe I need to get two cameras with the way we do things. Oh, I should probably screen share for you guys so you guys can see what I'm doing live. Screen one. Okay, so first step. Should we do that one? Should we set up? That's not the right screen. That one. That one. Wow. So many things. It's like I wasn't prepared. Okay. Should we set up with AWS first? Do the what is arguably the simpler one because it isn't a because we control both systems. Well, we don't control either system, so it is slightly easier to set up than Vault. Um, so this is part of the AWS identity access management, identity providers part. Uh, we go into, so you just go from IAM, and then you can go identity providers, and then you can go add provider. Now we need to go OpenID Connect, which I don't know when OpenID Connect came about, but I assume it's pretty new because everything's suddenly caring about it.
Think it's been around a little while. I'll have a little look and see if I can find out. But sort of, it's now old enough that big companies are starting to care about it.
So this is so the provider URL is the URL of the um, thing you're messing with.
Isn't it IO instead?
Did I not type IO? I did not type IO. You are correct. It is IO. I even thought it's not .com. Type IO. There we go. If you're curious, we can go down a little rabbit hole of what this actually is because I've been looking into it the last couple of days. So what that's looking for is, I think it's well known slash. Oh, can I remember? There's something else. That's not going to tell me. Uh, wow, I'm really not prepared now. Uh,
I found the OECD stuff. It was 2014 it launched.
oh wow.
The specification was finalized, but with all these things, they take a while to actually get going.
So this is what the OIDC behind the scene looks like. And I know this because I've been failing to do it myself for something else. So when I type this into AWS saying this is the provider's URL, AWS gets this page and then it gets all the information it needs. It gets the issues URL, it gets information about the JWKs, it gets the scopes that it can pull, all random things that I'm sure are useful. And also, this is all the references. This is what a ticket has, I believe. Um, yeah, fun stuff. And then audience, which I forgot to copy. So I do actually need to Google what the audience needs to be. Because this is how you link Terraform and AWS. I think it's all workspace in Terraform or something. Link AWS and Terraform OIDC. Oh, it is. Okay. It's an AWS thing. So it's the AWS workload identity is what the audience needs to be. And I probably could have found that out. So add provider, that is all you need to do to get that stuff connected. but currently it can't do anything because it's not assigned a role. So while the application can log into it, it needs the role to be set up to be able to do anything. I've just realized I've really zoomed in on my stream, and I don't really like how zoomed in I am. But that's as zoomed in as okay. It's so weird how Discord and streaming does it. Anyway, I'm going to assign a role. Let's create a new role. Obviously, you should be creating roles through Terraform, but creating something through Terraform when you don't have access to it is weird. Yeah, there's the whole like chicken and egg scenario. Okay, I am going to be lazy and just give this admin access. The access you give Terraform to be able to deploy resources is weird. It's the like, you need to make sure it has enough access to build everything you want to build. But if every time you want to build something, you need to give it more access, building anything takes twice as long. You better not give it permissions, TFC, create role.
Yes. If we're doing this in more of a serious deployment instead of just a demo, it would be better to start with very few permissions or get a basic set.
Yeah.
And there's some on the docs, and then you just expand them as you go instead of just giving them all and then trying to cut things out.
Yeah, the permissions for my AWS account are weird, and I really want to lock them down and sort it out at some point. But I need to work out what I'm doing with this AWS account first. But yeah, that was that was oh wait, there's a AWS side thing I need to do. Sorry. So that is the AWS side stuff. So Terraform can now authenticate to AWS, but we need to tell Terraform what URL to call for AWS. So on that, I've made this a variable set. So that's all. So you just need to tell it is a provider auth is true, and then you just give it an on. So you just have to pass in. You have to pass in the role on. So I actually changed that because I renamed my role to something that's slightly more useful. So I just need to pass in this variable, and I made it a variable set, which means I don't edit it there, I did somewhere else. So I just need to edit this thing. And that's all we need. That is as simple as it is to link AWS and Terraform together in a way that means you don't have to give either credentials. But yeah, there were some issues with this. You need to have if you're using you had this issue. If you're using Terraform Enterprise, you need a newish version.
So that is actually not confirmed because you do need a new version because that part is not supported on the older version. But then also the documentation specifically says Terraform Cloud specifically.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. When you go through the documentation, it's just tailored for Terraform Cloud. So it's either. Say again?
I wonder if they'll port it later on, because it seems to be that with TFE they've now switched where they release feature sets to cloud first and then TFE later, and well, same with most of the enterprise options where they have a cloud version too. The cloud seems to get the feature set first, and then if enough sorts of big enterprises say we want this on an on-prem usage, it then gets ported to the enterprise version.
I suppose it means that they're more sure that it's bug-free when it gets to enterprise.
True, I guess a slightly more cynical way of looking at it is they're trying to drive people to cloud more than.
That is true.
Away from enterprise.
I think they've quite clearly stated that that they'd rather people on cloud. So now, what is arguably the harder connection, and before that, I had an issue with this at the very start. I used cert bot to get a let's encrypt cert, and it got one that had an old cert chain that Terraform didn't accept. So it actually took me a while. So Terraform needs to accept the certificate from Vault. There's no skip auth. There's no skip verify. None of that. It has to accept the cert. So yeah.
That's fun.
I think you can use agents if you wanted more control.
You install trusted CAs within TFC as well would be another one way around it.
That's not something you can currently do.
That's a bit irritating.
But you
so
can.
If you had something entirely self-signed internally.
You have to use a runner, because a runner you can load certs onto. So you'd have to build your own runner image probably. Which I suppose at the point where you're fully self-signed, using a runner isn't the end of the world.
No, that's true. You've got enough infrastructure at that point that you probably know how to deploy a couple of servers, although it'd be nice to have the flexibility.
Yeah, I did almost get to the point of let's self-sign my Vault cluster and have a CA cert I have to give to people if they want to use it securely. I am glad I didn't. So yeah, let's create a auth method. So I deleted the method that I needed. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, one more thing on AWS. Because I just told it to do what I wanted. I didn't actually edit it. So within the trust relationship, this is incorrect. Because this means that anyone with Vault can access his AWS account. So anyone with Terraform can access his AWS account. So I'm going to quickly update this policy and I'll talk about it. So this uses a condition to go. This is the federated access. You need to have within the access the AUD needs to be AWS workload entity, and the sub needs to be your organization, and then a project if you want to group into projects, a workspace if you want to group into workspaces. And this is weird. A run phase. You can tell it to use different roles for apply and plan.
That's weird.
So
can you think of a reason why?
You don't have to be. So if you can have it so anyone can plan, but only certain people can apply. So you'd then be making it so people who run a plan on the account don't have the same permissions as the people that want to apply. If you really wanted to lock it down.
Yeah, right. I guess that makes sense a bit, but I guess what would happen on the Terraform side is if you hit plan, it planned successfully, and then you hit apply, it would just error out saying permission denied.
But I assume you'd do it the other way and you'd have apply having more access than plan.
Yeah, apply would have more access than plan, but I guess if someone tried to run plan, I guess that side's locked down on Terraform rather than locking that down on AWS.
I suppose the reason to lock it down is nothing's stopping you from running code on a plan. So you could maliciously edit your binary to deploy infrastructure on a plan.
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to deploy something on an AWS account and you had access to and if it was non-version control, it was non-version controlled, but with a remote backend, but it was run remotely. Maybe? I don't know. I feel like this is a weird, like, you've got to be pretty not trusting your employees or having like, I don't know, I imagine a government agency would care about this, or somewhere where like people will try and break your system.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I just want to try and mess around with it to see what I can actually do in the plan more than
You would
use it to
need,
secure my workload.
yeah, you would need a way of editing the AWS binary. I suppose if you had a runner, because the runner would use the binary that's inside of it.
Yeah.
So if you could change the AWS binary inside a runner,
You mean the terraform binary on the runner?
sorry, the AWS provider's code.
I think, yeah, you can probably just fork it and
Oh yeah, you can definitely make a change. It's how it's getting that inside Terraform, which would have to be on the runner.
yeah. Or if you had a custom place that you pulled your plugins from. Though I guess in TFC, I don't. Can you specify custom plugin locations?
You must be able to. Yeah, because if you made your own, you'd have to be able to.
Yeah, and it
Or
doesn't necessarily have to be posing as.
I suppose this,
Since AWS, it could be its own plugin that
yeah,
does AWS things. There's no reason why you have to maliciously edit the AWS one. You can just create one that
yeah,
poses as any.
yeah. This is just saying the app.terraform.io can authenticate to this. So yeah, you could just make a plugin that. God, that'd be a fun thing to do. Maybe a future demo. We break the. um, so yeah, let's get back to Vault. We've been talking about a lot of Vault recently, as we should. Oh, I wasn't going to connect to this one. I was going to connect to it locally. So yeah, this is sitting on a Raspberry Pi sat next to me. I don't think the cables are long enough to show, so you'll just have to accept it. So I'm going to try and set up Terraform without well, no, I'm going to look. So I actually have the code next to me. So I'm going to click opposite just because I think it's more interesting of how it works. JWT. So this is the information that it matters. I'm going to put this on another screen. I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing and click ops all the buttons. Though I suppose an interesting thing about this is the JWT auth method. Oh, it's actually just JWT. I thought it was OIDC. I don't know if there's a difference because for Google, it's OIDC, but it's the JWT auth method, but the role type is OIDC. I wish I knew the difference between them.
I wonder if they'll homologate them like what they did with LDAP. The secrets engine, LDAP and AD have been homologated because they were very similar.
Or I wonder if it's like SSL and TLS, where one doesn't mean the other, but one can be both. So it might be like OIDC is, because if you go into JWT, okay, I'm just going to go -terraform. I'm probably just going to import this at the end. Yeah, because you've got JWT options. It's so weird. I think they may be the same, just how people see them differently. So, the discovery URL is Terraform. This is the same as before. It is the they call it provider URL, but yeah, that's that one. And then this says I also need to set the bounder issuer, which is this bottom one. So I've need to set both of them, and then I think that's default role. No, I'm not going to set default role. That's fine. And that's what I need to do. I just need to set the discovery ID and the bound issuer. Everything else happens as a role within this. So what you can have, unlike the AWS one, where the audience was attached to the identity provider, so the identity provider has an audience. I can add multiple audiences, and assign individually. So you can have on-app terraform multiple different audiences if you wanted to. I don't think you ever would, but you can, yeah. So then here I'm gonna make. Wait, is this a? Oh no, method option. Oh, this isn't a. That's a shame. Either I'm not an admin, or more than likely, you can't. This is something you can't actually mess with in the CLI, in the UI.
It's probably UI feature set that needs
Yeah.
to be updated. With a lot of the auth methods have that kind of lacking functionality. They're bringing more and more of it in as they go forward, so they realize more people are using UI, but there's still quite a few places where you just can't do something
Yeah.
through the UI. You can make the API call or call it through the CLI, but
Oh yeah, it says that one.
yeah.
Uh,
I like the or CLI often means just hitting the raw API endpoints, but using the CLI command instead of putting curl in front of it. Feels very loose definition of CLI.
It's the command line. So in that case, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to terraform it. I'm going to run a terraform apply and hope that the AWS stuff works, because this will load in this information. So it's going the policies. There's a default policy and an admin policy. Oh, sorry, the policy has default and admin access. Wait. If I'm deploying if I'm accessing Terraform by JWT and I've just deleted the JWT provider, Terraform can't access AWS. Sorry, Terraform can't access Vault.
Yeah, you need to give it
Permission denied.
I either give it an admin policy, admin token, or a different or.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, what's the best way of doing this? Sure, let's. I'm going to quickly move this off screen because I don't actually want people to see my Vault token.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or just create a very short-lived one or a single use.
My hope is I can just give it this admin token that I really need to get rid of soon. But there's, actually, you may know this, Barnaby. To my access on my admin is that, but yet I can't do everything.
You should be able to do everything unless you have an explicit deny. There's a small subset of things you can't do, but they are. I'd be surprised if you come across some stuff like you can't generate new root tokens.
Well, so it's like I couldn't disable an authentication method.
What authentication method were you trying to disable?
The JWT Terraform one. I couldn't do it with my root account. Oh, that's fun because I've got the thing that tells it to use JWT. It doesn't work. This one. Oh, that's also why.
I don't. It'd have to, unless the auth method was. I don't think is a thing in Vault. If it was bound to the root token, but it shouldn't be. You should be able to do everything in Vault apart from sort of. There's a subset of commands that you need either unseal keys. If you need unseal keys to do it, you'll need unseal keys, and you can do all root keys. There's stuff like generating root tokens and need to have root tokens or unseal keys, but everything else you should just be able to do with a regular token, providing you've given it enough permissions. Denies will override allows, so unless you might have a deny in your default, but be a weird place to have one.
Yeah. Okay, I don't actually know why this isn't working anymore. This is still trying JWT, even though. Oh wait, let's skip verify. Oh, is it just like if the thing exists? There's an auth path. That's probably what's killing it. This is what happens when you don't read the errors. You just bang your head against problems.
I say if you try again fast enough, you just call yourself machine learning.
It's how I program. Is it like...
I can't remember. I haven't really messed with the TFC like auto or.
Yeah, I think it may now be like in the state, remembering how it wants to log in. Because there was a path. I gave it a path at one point that it was trying to log in as, which was the JWT. Missing.
What's in your provider? Are you telling it in your provider block in your Terraform? Are you telling it to log in through JWT?
No. This is my provider block. It's funny if you look at the recommendations from from Vault. The recommendation is you have an empty provider block.
What, and then it just picks up environment
Yeah,
variables.
then everything is set environment variable. So I need the Vault role environment variable, which I think I said as PyVault, which is the JWT. So yeah, for whatever reason it is like has to be JWT, which is fine. So we can do this another way, which is the CLI. JWT. Yes. I'm going to slash terraform. Time to learn how the CLI CLI works. Or do I? Nah, probably CLI. WSL. Do you have Vault installed?
API is slightly better documented, but
I go
if you
API.
wanted to go on a real journey, you could try and do it through the API Explorer, which would be like...
Do I have Vault installed? No.
Do you have Vault installed on your Windows system?
I think so. Yes. I mean, the other option is I log into the Pi, but I don't really want to have to do that. Okay, so Vault. So what I'm doing, I am setting up the backend role. Oh no, I'm gonna have to export crap.
Yeah.
Really don't want to have to export things in Windows.
Are you just trying to get a token
Yes.
to log in? Do you have any other auth methods that you could log in via?
Yes. No, yeah, I can. Yeah, you're right.
You just do Vault login dash and then
I could.
whichever
Oh
auth
yeah.
method.
But even if I log in with a token that's hidden,
Yes, that
which
is also
gets around the problem of everyone seeing my thing.
Just don't do a token lookup there. You'll need to export your Vault address though. You can do dash address.
I almost think it may be easier now to. No, it's fine. Real Windows. There we go.
It's just your accessor.
It has a token as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. That's
well.
We'll pretend we didn't see that.
Time to wipe that token.
Yeah. Whee. Whatever. Okay, so then. Yeah, I'll just whilst we're doing this, I mean, it's a Vault cluster. What's someone gonna do?
Steal your secrets.
Luckily, I'm still in the very early setup phase yet, so there's no secrets. Auth methods, yeah, they are actually down as the same thing. Redirectional login. Here we go. Wow, that's all it is. So it is right, and then I assume address, and then I go auth. What's the role? What do you reckon? Auth JWT?
Is this not what?
JWT slash role slash pi. Oh wait, no, it's
Have you
JWT.
enabled the auth method?
Yes. .pi underscore vault. So that should be the thing. Ah, of course the OF doesn't work on Windows.
Write it to a file and give it that. Can you give it that?
Do you know what's going to be faster?
Installing it on WSL?
Yes. WSL, come to me. I have been to this webpage so often recently.
I think I just need to type RE into my client laptop and it comes up.
What am I spelling?
Isn't it release? Is it releases or release?
Oh, I don't know. Ah, it's releases, yeah. Vault.
Just bragging about how it's burned into your memory.
It's burned memory, but the same as you. I just have to type RE and it's there. This is Linux AMD 64. I don't want to download it. Copy link address. Where do I want to put this? cd/temp.
You not just steal it from your downloads, as you did end up downloading it.
WSL is weird, and it's weird because I have to go into mount users downloads, I think, which is just unzip /temp/vault. Is it D destination?
I think so. It's been a while since I've been messing with unzips.
Local bin.
Yeah, no unzip.
Shows how little I've used WSL. I mean, heck, I don't know if anyone noticed. I'm now logging into root because I don't know the password that I set up for it, and as an unsecure root, which means sometimes it's easier just to tell it to run as root.
I'm surprised unzip isn't standard.
It's not standard Ubuntu.
Weird.
Yeah, on my the Pi setup, the first thing I had to do is install zip. I am kind of surprised it's not tar, because like tar comes with everything. Okay. Export vault edu equals.
I feel like it would have been quicker if we just updated the provider block to accept token and then map that to the environment variable in TFE.
But it wasn't.
TFC.
I hadn't set it to. I hadn't done anything. I've removed everything I've done that seemed to specify that it was wanted to use JWT. No one's. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you explicitly specified it to use a token, I'm pretty sure you can just token auth.
I know you guys have already seen my token, but Slightly more secure.
Try again.
Okay.
You've rotated it by now, right?
Yes. Let's say yes. No one try that token. Vault right auth jwt/terraform/role/pi_vault -our EOF. Yay, EOF works. Okay. User claim. This is if I spell something wrong. No. F. Actually typing anything. Bound audiences. Oh, it needs to be in quotes. Can I go back? I can't go back a line. No.
If you hit enter, I think you can go through the lines. Yeah, there, or if you send the bad request.
Yeah, there we go. Oops. No. Okay, that's saved it. Cool. Equals. Sorry for. I don't know if anyone can actually hear the pings. Bound
No, I don't think they come
audiences
through.
equals that one. Well, I don't think I'm actually outputting my PC audio to the stream. Bound audiences role type is JWT. Policies equals, let's go admin. TTL can be default. Bounds claims. Oh, everything's colons, not equals.
You trying to write JSON with.
I have no idea what I'm writing. I'm like, one of the things I'm looking at is HCL. One of the things I'm looking at is JSON. And my brain's just like badly mushing them together. Sub, and then it's that.
Oh, I have an interesting idea of where you could potentially pass tokens to Terraform in a slightly more secure way, although it's still not recommended practice. But look, the things you can get, well, you can get Terraform to generate a token from a token. So you give it a token that was single use that had permission to generate a token that was actually useful to it. Yeah. And then it uses that and the rest they apply. Although it would fail at every single plan.
Oh, I
It would
didn't.
work in the apply.
Oh, yeah.
Those,
I mean, you could.
yeah, equals.
You could edit the plan to be able to generate the token.
Use one of those like pre and post blocks, I guess, maybe.
This didn't save my curly brackets because also I forgot to curly bracket it, so it wouldn't even be valid JSON even if I clicked enter. Oh, EOF. It was successful.
Have you
Okay,
written all those bits right, though, is the next question.
so within terraform, because I've also deleted the terraform block that I didn't really want to delete, that was vault. I can't remember.
Was it OICD that you're using?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any OICD values on the provider thingy.
No, there's I I think it's the mount path.
More details.
Oh yeah, yeah, YouTube video. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, I can't 100% remember what. I think it's like volt mount token or something. That's the pi volt, and there's gwt/terraform.
Yes. Under OIDC, you have method mount role callback listener address.
Oh, I think it's
Callback
meth.
address.
I think it's method.
Yeah. You mean or mount?
Yeah, sorry, mount. Was it just mount?
Yeah, there's mount. Default OICD.
I think it's maybe just that I need. And then I'm going to do the token because the token didn't work. Missing volt roll. I thought I added volt roll. Volt roll.
Is that the formatting?
Probably not. This is why you should make good documentation.
Absolutely doing a terrible job of actually finding any useful information.
It's bad. I really struggled to find good information about this stuff. It's just like, here we go. Yeah, it's roll, but it's not giving me the. It's not giving me the like uppercase, the environment variable versions. But I thought it was just like that. You just.
Normally they are, but your Vault URL is lowercase and Vault URL
But that's a terraform variable.
from variable.
Volt mount. Roll.
Vault. There's Vault OICD address. Looking through some of these. Let me help you figure it out.
Conversion for is invalid, missing required values.
If you just have role.
Here we go. This is what I wanted. This is the documentation I found the other day. It needs TFC underscore volt one roll.
The Terraform docs rather than the Vault doc.
Yes. But it's like somewhere in a tutorial. Oh no, it's just dynamic provider credentials.
We should probably include this in the description of the video. I mean, the links to the documentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This page is not working particularly well. We'll fall back to the, okay. So it needs the run role. It'll fall back to the plan role if there's a plan role. So yeah, so you can edit the audience if you wanted to, and then it's the auth path is the other one.
Yeah, that would be if we enabled a different path.
Well, so yeah, so I have,
No.
because I've got jwt/terraform. My plan being that lots of different things, like lots of different auth methods. I want to be able to kind of like name a way you can log in. I want to be able to log in.
Do you not want to go down my obfuscation path of naming things under other authors' names to drive people absolutely insane?
So this doesn't like my sub. Okay, so terraform login. No, wait. Vault reads auth dash jwt dash terraform dash role dash pi dash vault. That's nice for pi.
You also got Jet.
Oh yeah. Wow, it's good to see that typing. So this hasn't, that bound claim has not been created correctly. Policies admin, user claim. So I think the rest of it's fine. I think the bound claim, that's wrong. So if I do maybe that, just in Terraform it's an array.
Seems happy with that.
That looks better. Though I've never run this command when it's been working, so who knows?
Because maybe if we do get it working, that might be something to.
Sub does not just say bound claims. Organization linked by projects workspace pi vault, and is that this role? Suppose I was complain about the role. Variables. That is the same as this. Wait, no, it's not a. It's not a. It was this one that showed it as the. It's the other one that showed it. But we have too many windows open. Okay, no, the array was wrong. So that was wrong. Bound claims sub colon. I've got there like, oh, it's the type. That's the problem. So I need to go. Oh, can I not? That was you like that. It is bounds claims type.
Do you need to specify OIDC instead of JWT?
Glob. I'm telling it what type of claim it is, I think.
You've missed the comma after the previous line.
Oh,
So,
I have.
you're
Luckily.
still in editorial mode. I think your curlies are wrong. Oh,
But I can't do anything here that specifies. Oh, claim type. That needs to be glob.
your brackets were wrong.
Yes,
Your curly.
you are correct. I'm outside the brackets.
I like how the success message is still the same regardless of your poorly formatted.
It's just like, it worked. Like, no, it didn't. Don't lie to me. There we go. I remember having this issue when I was setting up the first time. Fingers crossed.
Do you know what the difference between a glob and a string is?
Glob has more information, I think. So a glob would be like a JSON object. I mean, OIDC glob.
It really doesn't like OIDC.
No, it really doesn't. I want to open your spec. The core spec has nothing about globs in it.
I think glob might be a vault thing rather than a.
It's the bound claim. I've no idea.
By the way, your search you put bound, not bound.
Yeah. I'm done with that now. um,
Oh no. Set issue now.
What's the problem?
You don't contain any sounds apparently in your certificate.
So this is an easy problem. What do you think the problem is?
Oh, you removed your TLS verification.
No,
Or you re-enabled it.
I TLS via I enable the TLS verification. I TLS over with the domain name, not the IP. So the fact this is going IP means it doesn't work.
What is again the IP from?
This string here,
Mm.
which actually doesn't work because in the terraform code itself, I need both the IP and the URL because it does the AWS binding, which is a fun chicken and egg when the AWS code that sets up the Vault cluster is also the code that needs to run before the Vault cluster's set up. But if I just change the provider in here, nope, provider here to use the Vault URL.
I found the difference between globs and strings. I think globs enable is allowing for wildcarding, whereas a string it would have to match those exact characters.
And I do wildcard, so that's fair. So if you were being sensible and giving it the exact route,
In a very specific use case to have an exact route for.
or having a role per workspace.
But you'd also need it per plan. I guess plan and apply. There's just two things to fill out.
Yes.
So in this case, it's just about doable.
Yeah, so you need a role per plan and apply. Which, if you're interested, this variable had the run role. There's also a plan role, and the plan role will default to the run role if not specified. But yeah, that works, and it talks to AWS. So we've proved the AWS works. Wow, that's interesting. So because I deleted it and recreated it with the same name and the same path, the state file hasn't gone it's wrong. Because unlike AWS, which uses unique identifiers for everything, this just uses the path.
Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't work quite so well. If it
Yeah.
tries to, there's a few things I've had where I've deleted something and I go, oh, I'll run terraform to get a few things back, and it goes, can't find, and then fails.
Oh yeah, if I deleted everything, no, you have to do state manipulation to fix it. But yeah, that was dynamic creds and a little bit of how you could debug them with Vault and Terraform. And that's pretty much our hour. I'm surprised that was such a on the dot thing. I was expecting it to be a lot faster.
Almost like it was planned.
If only. The thing that I've been trying to next is use Vault as the provider to connect to AWS, and that just isn't working. But more debugging for me, I think. But yeah. Anything else you guys think would be good to talk about or mess with today?
I don't think I have anything else that would be short enough to fit in the 2 minutes, so I think it probably things I have to talk about can wait till next week.
Well, until next week then.
All right. Happy bank holiday, guys.
See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Let's disconnect from the right thing.